My name's Ryan and I'm from Goa.
My name is Fergi Pinto. I'm from Goa.
I just love Goa. Goa is just an amazing place to everybody. As I was growing up like a normal kid in Bombay, my mom would send me for my catechism classes to Good Shepherd, which is my parish over there. And the Lord, being the Good Shepherd, didn't let me wander about. He took care of me, although I was the lost sheep that time. Instead of going for the catechisms, I used to go bunk the catechism, go enjoy with my friends, fly kites, spin tops, skateboard and everything.
For me, actually, catechism was more of like having fun, meeting up with friends and having fun because my parents were strict. And though we were in Oman, I mean, my mom was more of a person who was very overprotective about me. So she wouldn't I don't know, she had her fears about me. So it wasn't very easy for me, in terms of freedom, it was not easy at all. So catechism was only my time of freedom with my friends besides school.
When I was growing up, my mother was pregnant with my younger sister and my grandmother is teaching me how to pray. This is the first time I'm praying. My eyes are shut. She asked me to join my hands and pray to the Lord so that you have a very beautiful, pretty little sister. So I'm praying to God and I was blessed with a younger sister. This is my first experience with her praying.
My younger sister was born then because my brother was born a year after I was and my sister was born after 11 years. We have an 11-year gap. So then it was just basically responsibilities which my mom kind of dumped on me because she was working. My dad had trouble with his job because when we were small, he was given a really good post and for some reason somebody tricked him into, if you get this job, you'll get a good salary. So he left his job and he didn't get any job. He didn't get the second job he was supposed to get. So it kind of got difficult. It was only responsibilities in school and it kind of affected me because when it came to exams and all, anyway, we would wake up early in the morning and to study and then, suddenly in the middle of the night, my mom would wake me up, go prepare her feed. So it was kind of very difficult. It took a toll on me. I was really confused. I was confused about what's going to happen to my life because, there were points in time my mom is very strict, very, very strict compared to my dad. And for some reason, like I said, she was very overprotective. So she even once told me, you can just finish with your 12th or with your 10th and I'll put you, you can start working or you can just stay at home and do all the cooking and shopping. And it literally scared me. It just scared me and I said, no way I want to do that. Because I had dreams and ambitions, pursuing my degree and getting a good job, going places.
As I was growing up with my friends and all the madness that they were into, I tried to stay away from that, which I did. All my friends were into drugs, into smoking, into all sort of things. And the Lord kept me close to Him. He made sure that I was with them, but not doing anything. That's where He actually kept me close to Him, but didn't let me completely wander around with the complete bad things that I was actually growing up with.
There was a point in time where mom and dad were, on the verge of, I don't know, they didn't want to be with each other because everything was taking a toll on them because my dad was struggling with his job and mom was forced to take up a job because of his struggle with his job. Because of what they were going through, we were affected in a way, in terms of, food. There were times when we didn't even have food to eat. I mean, it was quite a bit of a struggle being in Oman. It was not easy at all. Not easy in terms of I had responsibilities of my sister, I had responsibilities of my brother. The other responsibility was taking care of the house because both parents were working. So it was like cooking at a young age, so I learned to cook. This was totally not my life because I was still young and I wanted, I wanted to experience what life is, what freedom is. And it was totally different in my case. So it wasn't something that I could explain to my friends or talk to my friends about. It kind of took my childhood, my freedom, my youth away. So I never got that experience to hang around with friends. I didn't know what it was to even go to college. She didn't want to put me in a proper college. again her fears. She put me in distance education university, Sikkim Manipal. They have branches like all over India, and she tried getting a admission for me in Sikkim Manipal in Goa. So it was me and my brother living alone in Goa. We would manage everything alone, from cooking to cleaning to washing, and go to college on our own. So at that point in time, my brother was still in school.
So then my mother is worried now. He's turned 30. When is he going to get married? She's worried. She's worried. And I had no girlfriends. I had like little bit of friends here and there, but no girlfriends. You know how mothers are. They just keep getting worried.
I had this neighbor who was, I think, God sent, because she would take me, whenever the church would expose the Blessed Sacrament, she would take me along with her. And we would go for Mass, Sunday Mass. I would always join her for Sunday Mass. And it was just, during Mass, I just knelt down there and I said, Lord, I leave it to you to decide who belongs in my life. You find the guy who's right for me. I'm not going to do any searching. I'm going to leave it to you. You do the searching for me. And this is what I casually just said in my mind while praying.
I was attending a month's mind mass, somebody's death month's mind mass, and I see this cute girl at the church, and then we go to the graveyard for the blessings to be followed by the mass. So, and my eyes are not getting off her, and I'm just looking at her and looking at her. And
there's this guy, he's really cute, and okay, you can't take your eyes off. There are some people who are really attractive, you can't just take your eyes off. And just looking at him and then, trying to ignore him, like, no, don't look that way, telling myself, it's not right, I shouldn't look that way. I don't know his name, nothing. When I met him at the month's mind, when he came to condole me, there was this thought that crossed my mind. And it was like somebody whispering to me that he's going to be yours. And believe me, I mean, you can just train your mind to say that, but it was not. There was just this whisper, like, he's going to be yours.
Next thing I know is it's 15th of August 2008. Since I'm a DJ, I train a lot of DJs, and there's a battle of DJs happening at some place in Goa, and I wanted to go and see how they are actually performing. The performances are going on. Then my attention came to this girl who I had met at this march. I go up and I wish her, then she remembers me. Still not exchanged any numbers. And the next thing I know, I'm entering one coffee shop 2 days or 3 days after that. There's this guy on the phone talking to somebody, and I just look at him, and he's like talking to the person on the other end. He's saying, hey, the guy's here, you remember? And I'm like, who's he talking about? And then he gives me the phone, speak to somebody. And it happens to be this girl who I met.
So that's the time we exchanged numbers, and then since then it was like, talking, and then we were just talking initially, and then we just fell in love.
It was time to disclose it to my mother, and I'm trying to tell her that, I found a girlfriend, and she's like, waiting for it to happen. So then I finally tell my mother, I introduce her to my mother. So they meet, they've become friends and everything. Then it was time for me to meet her parents. We finally met, and then they still don't know that we are in a relationship. So she introduces me as a friend, and then so finally there was a time where they found out that why is this guy spending so much time with my daughter.
My mom noticed, like, okay, this guy is hanging around with us too often. So she just directly confronted him in front of me. And he said, yeah, I like your daughter, and I want to get married to her. So I didn't expect him to say the marry part because I felt it was too soon. But then he said it, and I said, I'm okay. And then she asked him his age and all that stuff, qualification and everything. And yeah, she was like, okay, I'm happy for y'all too. She was totally fine. Just 2 weeks before Christmas, everything changed. He just changed. Wherein, mom was like, he would come every day, he would come home, and suddenly mom started getting angry with him for no reason. And then she was also behaving differently with me, and I don't know whether she tried to find out about him. and all that stuff. So she was like trying to manipulate my mind in a way that, he's with a lot of other girls, why you want to be with him, and all that sort. So I didn't know what was right, what was wrong, but then I just knew that I wanted to be with him. So there was this point in time where mom stopped us from talking to each other, and it became very difficult. My mom took my passport away, and she's like, I'm going to take you back to Oman. So when I informed Ryan about it, he panicked. He didn't know what to do, so he thought he'd come home and apologize to my mom and say, don't do this thing, like separate us. And he tried telling her that, and she was like, no, and she was like screaming and yelling.
Then it started hitting us that, they were not okay with it. They wanted us to be away from each other. And they did all that they could for us to be away from each other. So then she was kept away from her phones and, everything. And then they said that, you cannot be with that guy.
She kept saying like, I have people around to keep an eye on you. And for some reason, I didn't believe her. So after she left, we would meet each other. I'd given up on my mom and dad because they kept finding out some fault or the other, or kept saying things that really annoyed me.
We were not close to the Lord at all, and we wanted to do something that what we thought was right. So we decided that we are going to elope.
For some reason, I just couldn't think straight. For me, it was like enough is enough. I've gone through it, my childhood where I didn't have freedom, then my youth where it was completely taken away from me, where I didn't get to enjoy as much. I need that little bit of freedom. I need my freedom now. And so I made a decision of eloping, and I was very firm about it. And I told Ryan, let's just leave. I just don't want to be here anymore. I can't take it anymore.
I'm talking to all the wrong people in my life about how to do this, why should I do this, whether I should do this. Because deep down in my heart, I didn't want to do it. Because I knew I was hurting somebody. Because you can't take somebody's kid away from them.
I don't know, but I'm having this really heavy heart. Packing my clothes in a bag. I just didn't want to go. I just didn't want to go. I don't know why I was getting that feeling, but I didn't want to go.
Although my advice that I was getting from my closed ones were like, you have to do it, you have to do it. This is the only way that you're not going to be with her. She's going to be gone away from you. Do it, it's nothing, kuch nahi hota hai, do it. And it's a normal thing, you see it in TV, come on, it's happening everywhere. But deep down my heart, I was like, no, this is not the right thing to do, not the right thing to do, you're hurting somebody. You cannot hurt somebody and make yourself happy. And finally, I gave in into my friends' advice and everybody who was advising me from their point of view. Since she was 20, we couldn't get registered in Goa because there's a Portuguese law where the girl needs to be about 21. And we couldn't waste time at that point of time. So these guys are giving me advice like, there are other ways to do it. So they're telling me, okay, you need to get a certificate from some temple or anywhere that you can actually produce it to the police station, and you can take her away because she's legally an adult to leave her parents and go wherever she wants. We went to Bombay Mantralay, got ourselves registered, got my couple of my Bombay friends, bear witnesses for that registration.
My brother approached the police station to file a missing complaint, but then found the letter saying that I've left on my own terms, like, I've left on my own, and I won't be coming back.
We come back to Goa, and now that she's completely devastated that she's actually left her parents, because it's really hit her that, I've left my parents, and she's crying, and I can see that, and I'm just ignoring it because thinking that this is going to happen. This is what she's going to be okay after a while.
I don't know what to think because, at 20 you're really young and you don't know what to do, what to say, and it was just totally different. When I entered that house, everything just suddenly started changing. Now that I'm there with him, he would be more on the computer. We started fighting, and it's different when you're in love and it's different when you live together. So it was like two different worlds coming together, and we don't learn about these differences when we are dating, but when we start living together is when we learn about the differences. So there was a lot of differences, and we just realized we were not getting along. I had a very fragile mind, and I would just, every time, there would be like a dispute between us, I would just walk out. And I don't know where. I would just like pack bags of clothes and just walk out the streets, and then suddenly call a friend and, put up at a friend's place. And then suddenly my mind would change and say like, no, I want to go back to him. And then I would call him back and say, come pick me up. And so I think with all this, his family got a bit affected with the fact that the way I was behaving, because I don't realize why I was doing that, but I was behaving really weird because suddenly things like were different.
We start having a lot of issues. And I'm trying to, make sense out of this, but there's no sense out of this. And then it really gets bad. It gets really bad. Then I'm trying to balance it between my mother and my wife, registered wife at that point of time. Marriage, we were married, but our marriage was not blessed. The fighting just kept getting worse and worse and worse. And I saw myself changing as a person. I got to a point where I actually raised my hands on my wife.
Probably because I know what it is to take pain already. So, when you have all that emotional pain and physical pain that you've had in the past, it doesn't hurt you anymore. So you give me one slap also, I won't feel the pain. It's like that. So those blows, I didn't feel the pain. I didn't cry. Not a tear came out of my eyes. And I just took my phone because he snatched it away and he tried to remove the SIM. So I took my phone. And that was it, because for me, in my mind, I was like, this is it. It's over.
I'd spoken to the Lord saying that this is not me, I cannot do this, I have to stay away from her, let her go back to her house. I'm actually asking the Lord that, I've actually taken somebody away from her parents for her to be with me, and I'm actually sending her back to her parents. So is this the right thing to do? And I'm lost, I don't know, I'm not getting any answers. And I see myself becoming a very bad person, wanting to actually do all these evil things and hit her, hurt her verbally, and at the same time I'm getting that kind of evil things back towards me from all angles of my life, from my mother, from my friends, my family. Now there were people who at that point of time earlier were telling me to elope and this is the best thing, she's the one for you, are telling me that she's not the one for you, she's got some psychiatric problem. You take her to a psychiatrist. She's crazy, she cannot do this to you, blah, 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 blah. These are the same friends. These are the guys who are telling me this is the one for me. Now they're telling me that she's not the one for you. And at the same point of time, my family is hurt because they don't want to see me hurt. So they're seeing that these guys are fighting. How long are they going to fight? Is this going to last forever? And they said that, leave her, just leave her. Tell her to go back home. And I'm like, I can't do that. That's not what I actually want. In this entire thing, there's a voice inside me that's saying that, give me a chance. You're not giving me a chance. And I'm like, I have to give him a chance now. I'm becoming a different person, and I can't see myself becoming this. This is not me. The people that I used to stay away from is the person I'm becoming. So I'm trying to say that, I have to give God a chance. So I'm trying to plan a trip to Divine.
All these fights that we were having, we weren't able to do our church marriage. So I was under the impression that after we get civilly married, we would immediately do the church marriage within a year. That took us 3 long years. I don't know for what you're going, why you're going for this retreat. Are you serious? You're going to a retreat center to decide whether you want to be with me or not. You could just take a decision now rather than go for a retreat for 1 week and then say, okay, I don't want to be with you. Then I have to go through that whole 1 week for you to come up with your decision that I don't want to be with you. So I was not ready for that. I was not prepared. Because I thought like, okay, he's going to get done with the retreat and say, no, I don't want to be with you.
I come here and I'm attending the retreat like everybody else, sitting at the back seat and, just listening to the talks.
We were listening to all the talks, the testimonies, and the inner healing. Okay, it was a different experience for me because we've never praised God, like, in tongues, or raised our hands up and said hallelujah. So it was totally different. Then I went for confession, and when I confessed everything from what I remember since a child. And after confession, when I walked, I felt I was flying. I felt like a leaf, which was just like in the air. I felt so light, and I never felt like that before. It was just a beautiful feeling.
I did not come with the frame of mind to change me. Then one point of time when I was praying, I heard this thing that why are you looking for the change in others? See the change in you. So I'm seeing the change, and this is being repeated in my head. So I'm praying over it.
I knew that I wanted to get married to him. Even though we've come through all this, I want to be with him. But he wasn't getting convinced, so I said maybe he is going to say no to me at the end of the retreat.
We are attending a couples retreat. So couples retreat, they have this thing where you stand in a line, you go for the counseling one by one, and then together. So my wife goes first. And I'm waiting for answers from the Lord saying that, if I decided that I don't want to be with this girl at all. So if she's the one, you tell me, you give me the answers, and I'll be with her forever. So she goes to the counselor, and she's counseling, she's speaking to the counselor. And it was my turn to go, and she comes back with a smiling face and everything, and I'm here all irritated and upset, and how long I had to wait and what to do. And then I finally go there, and the first thing that I hear from the counselor is everything that is nothing, no answers at all. It's just that counselor speaking to me, and I needed to speak to the counselor, and I'm not getting a chance to do that. So it's a huge line, and I'm getting irritated. I waited for so long, and the counselor is not waiting to hear me, because she's heard it from my wife's point of view, although whatever she's gone through. And then I get my answers straight from the Holy Spirit saying that, if you leave this girl, you're never ever going to be happy. She's the one for you. And the Lord spoke to me, and then He said that your marriage is not blessed. Go back, do the holy matrimony, and come back again. My plan to go back is get the church marriage done. He's told me to do it on Mother Mary's Assumption into Heaven, which is the 15th of August, which happens to be my wife's birthday, and also the day I met her and spoke to her for the first time.
The next thing Ryan tells me is like, okay, so we're getting married. And I'm like, okay, I've decided we're getting married, he tells me. And I'm like, just looking at him and saying, okay, because he's told that to me so many times and it has never happened. So I don't know what to believe. And I'm like, yeah, okay, we're getting married on the 15th of August. And I'm like, are you serious? Are you sure you want to get married? And that on my birthday? He's like, yeah, I'm very sure.
And I go and tell that I want to get married on the 15th of August. My mother's like, you're gone mad? 15th of August is just a month away. How are you going to get married? So many things get into the marriage thing. I said, blessed. He's asked me to do this, and everybody is laughing at me. I felt like Noah, where he's building an ark and everybody's laughing at him. What are you doing? You're crazy or what? And I'm like, yeah, he's asked me to do it. I have to do it. You laugh if you want to. This is it. And he sent me to the right places to get everything sorted. Right from my shoes, socks for the wedding. And I have a little money to do this entire thing.
We started going to the church and getting things done. I still couldn't believe that I was getting married.
We went for the marriage course, which happened to be one seat available for a particular day before the marriage.
While we were at church, exchanging the rings and saying the vows, I just couldn't control myself, because after all that we had gone through, we finally made it happen. God was with us, in spirit, making everything really easy for us and without any stress. for the first time, I was like, looking at Ryan and crying tears of joy. I mean, I just couldn't control myself. Like when we were exchanging rings, I was literally shaking, like crying with tears and putting the ring on his finger, because it was just, I never could imagine this day, and it finally happened. And he, looking at me, started crying. When the priest was raising the chalice after the exchange of rings, during that time, we're kneeling down at the kneeler where the couple is supposed to be. I saw the most amazing thing in front of my eyes. The chalice and the bread, and there was this power that was moving around it. And you know how you see a flame and you light a flame, but you see above the flame and you see that invisible power. I could see that just rotating between the bread and the wine, and it was just moving and moving. And I tried to tell Ryan about it, but he couldn't see it, and I just could see that, and it was really beautiful.
We don't have a wedding car. I have my own car, and she wanted some other car for the wedding. Yeah, then I invited a couple of my friends, and my friend happened to say that, why don't you use my car? And it happened to be a Beetle. She always wanted a Beetle for the wedding, so this is one of the things. She didn't know about the car, what car we're going to have. We finished the church. I'd completely covered the car, and we're coming out of the church after the matrimony, and then we pulled the thing out, and then she was all surprised and happy.
There was just so much of joy and so much of happiness.
How he blessed me after that. Just an upward slope. Everything that I do is a blessing. I consider Jesus to be my friend, and he's there with me no matter what. Earlier I would go to the wrong friends for advice. Now I have somebody who guides me all throughout. So I have the right friend in Jesus. If something's not going right in your relationship with your girlfriend or a boyfriend, leave it into the Lord's hands and he'll take care of it. At that point of time, I didn't have Lord in my life, although he was there with me, but I had not looked up to it. I had not looked at him at all. I had said that I'm listening to my friends, let's just go ahead with them. Put my faith in man and not with the divine, not suggest anybody to hurt the parents. The bad things will be there, but you staying close to God is going to help you overcome them in the most happiest, the most rejoicing way. Because the moment you start seeing any sort of a trouble or any sort of a problem in a divine way, you look at it like a happiness. Today, my troubles might not end. I mean, I might have a lot of troubles, I might have a lot of worry, but I don't look at them as worry anymore. I look at them as a blessing. And he's going to be there, and he's going to bless me a million folds more than what I actually can take. And that's something that is coming completely from the Lord, nobody else. None of my friends can do that.
Every time that I've prayed, the power of prayer has been so strong that it just changes the situation. And you won't believe it, in the most mysterious, marvelous ways.
You'll have fights practically every day, every second, but it's the love that keeps you together. And that love comes from God, nobody else.